This is Edwin Desamour from the new hit talk show The Wall. You are listening to USLA Radio. Achievements to life lessons. This is Edwin Desamour. This is another episode of The Wall. Today is going to be an awesome show. I hope you're tuning in. And if you're tuning in, make sure you call your family. Let them know we're on. We're on live. We're on live, on air. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere. Make sure you share it. Let folks know. Now, who's in the studio with us today? Elijah. Genesis. And we have Mr. Sean.
What's going on, everybody?
Welcome.
Thank you.
And we have Chickahawk in the background. How you doing, Chickahawk? He said good. Sean, before we even get started and talk about our topic introduction, you're our guest today. Thank you for coming out to the studio.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Real quick, just a little background on yourself.
Born and raised in Philly. Went to college originally to have a art degree in recording arts. So been around music a lot. And then this year, I kind of transitioned, and this is my first year. I'm actually going to be a public school teacher.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. So, but music, is it safe to say music is your first love?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So you're in today for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. Topic introduction. Elijah. Let's make it happen.
On the wall this week, we're going to be talking about music. If you have turned on the radio or the news anytime in the past 2 weeks, you will know that we have had another brand new music controversy. But music has been causing controversy for centuries. Today we'll get into the idea of music and whether or not it has a positive or a negative impact on our youth. Remember, the end of this show should be the beginning of the conversations. Don't be afraid to tear down the wall.
Remember, folks, the ending of this show should be the beginning of your conversation. We're going to start it off for you, but we're hoping that you can keep it going. Because sometimes conversations do not finish. All right, Genesis, we're going to jump right into it. What is the random question of the day?
What's your favorite weird food combination? Why do you love it? Example, ice cream with pickles.
All right, what is your favorite food combination? Should we put our guest on the spot first?
Go ahead.
Something that a lot of people think is weird is sometimes I put ketchup on pretzels.
Ketchup on pretzels. That's the first for me. Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you how it started. I don't do it often anymore. When I was younger, I did it a lot. But every now and again, I.
And I'm a ketchup man, But I never thought about ketchup and pretzels. I might just do that. All right, Elijah?
I think I know got a couple weird ones. I know I do. It's just like it's hard to remember. But when I eat something, it's like I gotta put this in first. I don't specifically remember. I did. I think I used to that nobody remember. Nobody should knows. I put iced tea with milk.
Iced tea with milk.
Yeah, it gives like a different flavor. Cause one of my friends told me to do it, so I tried it. It was alright. So yeah.
I won't even attempt to do that. I gotta be near a bathroom to do something like that. Genesis.
I used to eat like hot Cheetos with pickles.
Hot Cheetos with pickles.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. We have a picky eater here who's saying no. But we could go to a restaurant and Chickahawk would just be just the basics. Plain burger. He's very safe when it comes to his food choice. For me, when I was younger, it was bananas and cheese. I would take my banana and wrap it with cheese. And that would be it. So for those at home, I hope you guys are sharing your favorite weird food combinations with each other. And hopefully you guys will get a laugh going on. But we're going to jump right into this weekly update and everything going on because I think that, a lot of times when we get into a heavy topic, we run out of time quick. And I think we're going to get into it today. So I'm trying to rush through this so we can get to the heavy part of this show. I'm going to start off with the weekly update. Cardi B responds to critics about her new song, WAP. Right? In an article for Vanity Fair, Cardi B says she hated recording the clean version of her new song, WAP. She says that the clean words that she used to replace the explicit words were grosser to her than one of the original songs. All right? In response to people who are offended by her lyrics in this song, Cardi says that people who the songs bother are usually conservatives or fake religious people. But my thing is that I grew up listening to this type of music. For the other people, it might be strange or vulgar. But to me, it's normal. Here's the question. Is it possible that vulgar language is just normal for some people? Why or why not?
At this point, it is because you can walk anywhere and you could hear some words. You can hear certain language. It's just how people talk. It's how we grew to talk, really. Even though it may be this words used for disrespect, words that are inappropriate. That's how a lot of people grew. That's how a lot of people grew up to talk, and you hear it on a lot of music. And you know what's surprising? People talk about how old music was never like that. You could go back and listen to old music. They talk in so many different ways about how we still talk now.
Okay.
It's and it's just like nobody has the right to really say that somebody has to change their song because the language.
Well, for the listeners, because I want to make sure we're careful now, because we got a couple of generations in this room, right? In the booth. When you say old music,
Oh, like
right? Because
He's talking about what we
50s,
listen.
50s.
Oh,
I
alright.
go 50s and back.
okay, you talking about the 1950s?
1950s back. They talked. They had some. Yeah.
They just hit it better, right? Like they disguised their music, right?
Yeah.
In the 50s and 60s.
There was a meaning to
It was like they used different ways to say stuff that like their generation got. They weren't as I won't say it was as explicit, but they definitely talked about stuff that that was real world stuff happening. They hit it better, man. Like they used metaphors, they used stuff. You had to know what they was talking about. But there's definitely always been a reality to music as far
Okay.
back as music goes.
Okay. And for those of you who hear some construction going on, Usla is growing. So if you hear some drilling going on, we're building. It's about to go there. Geneset.
I can't really say anything different of what they both said,
Okay.
but for like a lot of people that I know, like from my old school and this one, it's just like normal for mostly everyone except my sister. I don't know how, but yeah, it's just normal for most people because, like for me, like I learned it from like a ton of like when I was young. People like the kids in my school just started doing it already. I had no idea what it meant.
You go anywhere and you hear that.
Yeah. It's pretty interesting. I grew up when someone said, and I'm not calling, I don't want my family members calling me up later on, calling folks fake religious. But when I remember growing up, and I don't know, I was going to ask Sean this because I never put my sons through this. But if they do listen to a song, let's talk about it. You know, if I hear a certain song, do you know what they're talking? Sometimes I might tell them, yo, that's a little too much now.
Right. Yeah.
Now I might have to check them, right?
Yeah.
Because you know some things I disapprove of. There's vulgar language, then there's language where you're just straight degrading someone. You know, and we're gonna have to talk about that. But me growing up, I remember I'm putting my age out there. There used to be a song called "I Love Rock and Roll." Put another, and I'll never forget. My mom was all religious at this time, and I never forget in the car when that song came on, and I was scared to sing it because I wanted to know that I was listening to that type of music. And she was like, "Oh, you don't know your Bible verse, but you know that song."
Right.
I was like, "Dang, you straight ready to throw that at me?" But it made me want to listen to different music more on the low,
Yeah.
right? But we had no choice because as soon as we walked out the door, people were playing everything.
Everything. Yeah.
You know, whatever house we went to. So, I mean, she didn't pressure that too much, but I remember there was the comments here and there
Sure.
about some of the music that we were listening to. And I think about it now, like some of that wasn't really bad at all. But
Yeah.
sometimes,
I think part of it too is just as life progresses, we get more accepting, more liberal, right? Like back, you know, I'm 36. I know you
48.
Yeah, so there's just every generation
We evolve.
We just evolve and we allow
evolve.
a little bit more, right? We because it's okay. This is what we grew up on. We don't want to shelter our kids from it, right? So then they take on a little bit more, and then when they get older, they're gonna allow a little bit more than we let. So you know, it's just like you said, it's like an evolution, man.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting when we talk about, you mentioned evolve. A lot of people don't realize how much we are evolving. Just because some people are stagnant,
Yep.
because some places, some communities might still be stagnant, but
Yep.
the world is moving.
Oh, it ain't
You know,
stopping.
and sometimes it's irritating for me, and they're like, "Do you hear the music today?" Well, there was music back then that kind of promoted lynching, slavery.
Yeah.
You know,
That's part of the national anthem. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the athletes of protest did.
Yeah.
Part of the national anthem.
Yeah,
Had
you-
some really.
exactly.
You know.
And when I think about it, like, are we evolving? Yes. Now sometimes I get frustrated. This is a whole nother topic. I don't want to steer from the topic, but sometimes when people say, "Well, it's getting bad out here," is it? There was a time. I don't know if you guys knew this. There was a time if you were found guilty of a crime, and the crime punishment was death, they hang you in the streets, and the crowd could come out. People, it was a picnic type of thing. People would come out with their kids to watch someone hung in the streets. That will be considered today like no way in the world
Yeah.
we're going to do that. So we've evolved, right? Then there was the firing squad.
Right.
Then there was the gas chamber, which was inhumane. Then it was the electric chair, which was not too long ago,
Yeah.
right? And then it was to the point now we're starting to look at like, is putting someone to death humane, period?
Period, oh,
And
yeah.
can we figure things out, like that eye for an eye type of thing? So there was a time also where a black person and a white person, or in a race, you couldn't even marry. And this
Right.
was just in 1970,
Right.
1971.
That long ago, man.
So we are evolving. There was a time where you couldn't go to a school. It was,
Yeah,
segregated.
segregation, yeah.
So when people start saying, you know, where it's getting bad, is it? Or are we getting better?
Yeah.
You
We
know,
also have a
we
lot
have
more
issues, though.
for sure, and I think we have more exposure to the information, right? Like, you know, in the 70s and the 60s, they didn't have cell phones. They didn't capture
Yeah.
everything. We didn't become desensitized to a lot of the stuff that we're seeing now. So we're definitely evolving. I don't know if it's better or worse, but it's definitely a movement.
Yeah, no, you know what? If it wasn't for people, because they were I think in their time they were called radicals, right?
Sure.
Because there was a time a woman couldn't vote. I don't know if you knew that, Genesis.
I knew.
You knew that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a woman could not vote. A woman could not do certain things, but then folks got up and said, hey, we're not having that.
Right.
Child labor laws, right? Back then, kids would put to work in factories, you know, but people fought, right? When we talk about when people couldn't sit in front of the bus or anywhere they wanted on the bus, but people fought,
Yep.
you know. So back then, those folks were considered extreme, right? They were hosed down. They were bit my dogs. They, you know. So what I mean by that is we are evolving, and I'm not here to say that we're good now, because we still got to keep pushing to get where we got to go, and this is what we call we evolving, right?
Mhm.
But some folks in certain areas are still stagnant, right? They still stuck. They still have these crazy beliefs, certain beliefs, superstitions,
Sure.
you know. So you know, but that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
But it ties in with music too.
Sure.
It does tie in with music, because back then there was a guy named Elvis Presley who was considered, because he was jiggling his hips, and you know, you have religious folks out there, and now you see kids dancing reggaeton. That's a whole nother level, you know, or these reggae dances.
You
know.
see the WAP TikToks?
No,
They
I
got
haven't.
little girls out there with the WAP TikToks.
I haven't seen
You
that.
want to start,
Yeah.
people. If somebody wants to start yelling at Cardi B for her song WAP, don't yell at her. You want to really talk about something. Talk to the kids on TikTok doing all the
It makes sense.
twerking
Makes
and
sense. Again, I'm a firm believer of that too. Like, you know, like you're attacking the artist, because artists, and at the end of the day, they have a right to sing about and talk about what they want, right? But you have a right not to listen to it.
Right. See, that's a great point, right? I don't know why music gets held to a different standard than like any other form of entertainment, right? Especially hip hop music. We do this thing where we hold them to this standard of like, if they said it, it has to be true. Like there's this, like, because she's singing about that, she's promoting it. But nobody does that about movies, right? Nobody does that about, like, there's a very clear understanding that, hey, this movie is entertainment, this is not real life. But in music, everything they say is real life, right?
Yeah.
It's not, we don't give it the same, just like evaluation as far as like what it is, right? So yeah, like to me, she's got the right to make the music.
But is music more influential than movies?
Yeah, probably because we're around music a lot more. I would say so, right? Like even in just like when
You
you're
hear it
walking
all
down the
day.
street, yeah,
Throw some headphones
there's no
on.
music. I mean, there's no movies playing. There's music, whether it's the cars driving by, whether it's your headphones, whether it's just walking with your phone. You have a lot more exposure to music for sure.
music is like illegal drugs. I say there's some kids who grow up not listening to certain music, but you gotta realize. And what I said might have been like really, you might not understand. Think about illegal drugs. Why do people want them so bad? Because they're illegal. If you really look at it, there's more of a want for something that you can't have.
Absolutely.
That's what people always find the interest in. And in music, when that comes into play, toys, games, when somebody's not able to have that certain thing, they're gonna want it so much more.
But you think that's why I believe that the importance is like what we're doing now, a discussion. Like sometimes people, especially certain households, especially Latino households, especially where they're like, oh, we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, you know, you should be able to have a discussion. A lot of times you won't have an answer, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about this song. Let's talk about what these lyrics are about, or equip your child enough to know the difference between reality and a song.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get a little more deep into that. Next up on the wall is ethical dilemmas. We're gonna go to a commercial break. Stay tuned. It's gonna get good. It's already gotten good. We jumped off and we started taking off all types of directions. But stay tuned. This is Edwin Desamour. You're listening to The Wall on Usla Radio.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to The Wall, where we witness achievements through life lessons. This is Edwin Desamour. All right, next up on Ethical Dilemmas, on The Wall is Ethical Dilemmas. This is a good one. I believe so. If freedom is simply being able to do what you want, are animals freer than humans? Why or why not?
All the time. All the time.
Explain.
If you're in... Okay. First of all, I'm going to put another question. If you were an animal, what animal would you be? That's my question.
For me?
I'm for everybody. If you were an animal, what animal would you
For
be?
me, for some reason, I was always fascinated with the mountain lion. Not that lion that sits on the cliff. The snow leopard, not a mountain lion, the snow leopard.
Yeah.
You know, that you see them up there sitting
kinda
down,
watching.
relaxing, just watching.
Honestly, if I was... What I thought is like... Now looking at... You want to be somebody big, scary, and fun. Now looking at it, I want to put smarts to it. I used to say... Now I was looking at it like a day ago as an eagle. I want to be an eagle because I get to soar high. No fear, because that's one of the biggest birds out there. Like, barely any predators. But now looking at it, I gotta do so much killing and stuff, and I don't want to, like, if I still have that human mind, I don't want to live with that on my brain. And now looking at it, I'd be a vulture. Honestly, I'd be fine taking
You
care
just
of
taking
the
the
dead.
scraps.
Yeah, I don't want to kill anybody. I'll take as much as that may sound. I don't want to
Okay,
kill anybody.
so I guess you'll be taking in the scraps that Genesis kills.
Bond was an eagle.
It was an eagle. So okay, you'd be just hanging out with Genesis. Go ahead, kill him, and
I cleaned it up.
I clean it up.
I love water, so it would probably be like a whale. I just love being in water.
Awesome.
I just like
Awesome.
being around it. But to the question,
There's a
right?
freedom to that too, though,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
How big the
100%.
ocean is.
Right. I know this,
But
man.
now you gotta like think about it. What is a bird? What is a mountain lion able to do that humans can't do?
Well, for me, it's the snow leopard that I was talking about, not the mountain lion. The snow leopard. The reason I feel as though they have no real, predator, like something that's coming after them. They're up, and minding their business. They come down, do what they have to do, but they sit up there, and there's something about them relax. You ever see those pictures? Their paws hanging off the cliff.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful scenery. They're enjoying. They come down when they want to.
Yeah, like they got no fear either.
And they
man.
come
just
right back
chilling,
up.
man.
So really, if you think about it, we animals, they got no fear. If you really think about, well, they do, but like, we as humans, we built and we're more civilized now.
Yeah, I think the only thing with animals is like they're free, but really they're about survival, right?
Mm.
Like there's no not humanity, but there's no like conscience to their actions. They're not like gonna do something because it's gonna help you or whatever. They're doing what they have to do to survive,
Yeah.
whether it's moving in packs and
It's nature.
It's just nature, right? So I don't know if that's freedom. For me, I don't know if that's freedom, right? Like just living to survive
Yeah.
isn't a freedom.
Yeah, because you just stated you have to kill.
Right.
If you're this, you have to.
Right.
It's almost like, I'm going to steer off a little bit, but which is not real. But if you're a vampire, you have to feed.
Right. Right.
All they can eat is blood.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So you're doing it out of survival,
And they're born
not just
that
out
way.
of freedom. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
When people try to tame a wild animal and they're like, "Oh my God, the tiger snapped out!" Like the tiger
Yeah,
was
it
always
wasn't-
crazy.
it wasn't supposed to be inside your house,
It's
man.
in him, and it's kind of like that alligator, right? They said the brain is this small or something like that, but they're killing machines.
Yeah. So all they need it for. They just need
All they want to do is eat,
Yeah.
and for some reason it creates a balance on the planet.
Oh yeah.
If you remove one set,
It throws everything off.
it throws
man.
everything off.
Yep.
So it's pretty deep with that. So.
And then we evolve back to making it work, right? You find that balance even when they're gone, but it definitely throws it off balance for a while.
Yeah.
Until we find a way to, everything evolves again back to some sort of
No,
normalcy.
I mean, they're more free because at the end of the day, they're able to kill. We can't kill. We're civilized people under control from certain.
How we do
things.
kill.
We kill.
Whether it's,
I think we
whether
kill
it's
more than
human-
animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but whether it's human or animals to eat, like we kill, like we.
Yeah.
I think that we all got the choice to. We all have the choice to do whatever we want. It's just that we're limited on it, and we're more. We have that conscience. That,
Yeah.
But Sean brought up a good point, because animals are conditioned and born a certain way. They have to survive. Us as human beings,
We can survive without killing anything, right?
We
like
can survive-
whether it's
we-
animals, like we make that decision. We have the freedom. Right,
we
to-
talk about
to
the
do that.
natives. When they kill something, they would thank that buffalo, whatever they killed,
Yeah.
for their sacrifice. They didn't want to kill it, but they make sure that it's not in vain.
Nothing
They
goes
would
to
use
waste.
every part
Yeah.
of that body.
Mm-hmm.
The bone, the hoof,
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
But folks today are just like, let's go kill some buffaloes.
Yeah, we wasteful, man. We
Let's
wasteful
just go
people.
hunting. And next we're hunting each other.
Yep.
All right, we're going to move on. That was pretty interesting. Topic of the day. We'll get back to our topic. In 2005, the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine analyzed the lyrics of almost 300 top songs for teens that year. They were listening for a mention in the lyrics of drugs or alcohol. 9% of pop music lyrics, 20% of R&B and hip hop lyrics, 36% of country lyrics, and 77% of rap lyrics. Based on this information, do you think music has a negative impact on behaviors and actions of teenagers? Why or why not? I'm asking the teenagers first.
It's not really.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's on the music, because at the same time, you could say, you hear a lot of parents say, don't listen to that, because they don't want that certain thing happening. Honestly, I think that a lot of things happen because of how that kid was raised. I'm not blaming it on that certain person, but music doesn't have to interfere with somebody's life. They listen to it because they like that rhythm, the beat, the whatever. They don't have to. If they start doing it, and they're gonna say because of the music, first of all, it was never because of the music. It was because of you. You let that happen. You always had control of yourself. Everybody has control of themselves. It's their will. It's their how they. It's that's how we were designed to be. And if you wanna blame something on music, don't blame it on music, cause really, it was your fault from the beginning.
Mm, mm. You know, I was watching a Chris Rock skit one time, and he was talking about the Columbine shootings.
Mhm.
He was talking about people saying, you know, what was in the music, what they listening to, and he was like, shit, what, excuse my language. He said, what was Hitler listening to?
Right.
So you just can't always blame it on
Right.
the music. But I just want to throw in there that you know, people. The reason I wanted to come up with this topic because I hear people say, and we say this, right? Say if I want to relax, I might throw on some blues. I like to listen to anything. I'm one person. My children too. They listen to anything. You know, I know I've run into so many people. They just listen to either hip hop or R&B or salsa, whatever it is. They just pick one group and they don't venture off. Me, I love to listen to just music and I enjoy it for what it is, right? But I also know what type of music I want to listen to if I want to relax.
Sure.
You know, and I'm gonna go there. There's adults that say, "No, put this music to get us in the mood."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna play this, and then I came up young. I know there were certain songs when they came on. Oh, that thing make me hype.
Yeah.
When I go to the gym, I gotta listen to certain music to help me work out. So I think this is just my opinion. We need to stray from that conversation of, and I'm gonna say stray, but have the conversation. But when we start blaming someone, like, okay, we can't just blame the artist because I have the choice, right? We have the choice to listen to that, but also the artist should just be real. I just get upset when the artist make it an excuse. I'm just keeping it real. What
Right.
we down neighborhood, and you know, and I'm like, no, listen. There's a lot of people that grew up down here
That ain't.
that is not like that. I know a bunch of rappers that are not built like
I think
that.
that goes back to what I was saying earlier too, right? Is I think the art, especially rap, they feel like they gotta say that because that's the standard we hold them to.
Yeah.
Right. Like if we just say, "Hey, man, as a rapper, just make some good music." Like we don't care if it's your personal experience, right? We don't care if you lived it. Just make music that's relatable to people, and we just say, "Hey, this is entertainment." We wouldn't hold the artist to the same standard, but for some reason we do. We take rap music and we make it like where we hold them to the standard. Like this, everything you say has to be your life, and so there's just this standard that's I don't know.
But then again, we do have a generation. It's not all, but you know, we have a bunch of young people who don't have guidance in their life. So the only guidance they get is through this music.
for sure.
So at the same time, I'm wondering, are artists conscious of that, or they just don't care?
I don't know if it's their responsibility.
It's not their responsibility,
Yeah.
but I'm just wondering if
They're even cognizant
yeah,
of it.
but
Like,
you
do
know,
they even realize
again, they
what
shouldn't
they're
have to.
doing?
They should just be like, I want to rap about this.
Yeah.
You know. But then again, in the industry, there are rappers who really just want to be lyricists, right?
Sure.
But then the record company, they sell their soul. The record company, like, I don't want you to talk about this. I want
Yeah.
you. Say someone wants to talk about education or rhyme about political issues, right? But then you got an industry that tells you, no, you better talk about hustling, trapping. This is what's selling right now.
Yep.
And you know, so is it really music? Is it really you?
Right.
Or are you just being pimped out right now?
For sure. For sure.
You know, to put a product out there now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This just
Yeah. Just let
my
the
thoughts
wheels
on
go.
that, man.
Yeah.
Because country music could be gangster too if you really listen to it, man, and also could be depressing.
Yeah.
You know, there was
that was interesting, right? When you read those stats, right? I think about like the drug and alcohol, and the two highest ones being country and rap music, and I think about where those two come from, and I'm not. This isn't like a general statement about everybody, but for the most part, right? Country music you think of as like poor white people, right? Like you think of like like trailer parks, whatever, and rap you think about the hood, right? So it's coming from places of poverty, right, where alcohol and drugs are a part of the lifestyle. So I think that's interesting, but I think that's telling about
It is.
why you see it in that music. You know what I mean? You're coming from places where there's not a lot of hope and not a lot of positive influences and stuff, and so it's going to reflect in the music.
Well, studies here, they did some studies that are mixed. Some people believe youth are listening to music and paying no attention to the lyrics, which I believe.
Yep.
And another study, 17% of males and 25% of females said they listened to certain music because the lyrics mirrored the way they were feeling. Right? Which I could see happen because some folks like certain songs, like, yo, that's all me. I do that sometimes. Like, oh, I'm feeling this song.
Yeah.
You know, Some studies suggest it's it's the association certain types of music have to the particular behaviors. For example, rave. Music is associated with drug use. When I was younger, there was a time where that hard rock, heavy metal was telling young folks to kill themselves. I don't know if you heard that before. It was like songs with subliminal message, kill yourself, and you had kids out there killing themselves. Where people were like, "Yo, we need to put a stop to this."
Yeah.
But do you think it's the lyrics that affect people? If yes, how do they affect them? If no, why not? Nigel?
Honestly, yeah. If it's the lyrics that affect somebody, it honestly, no. I mean, it goes half and half, because, like I was going back on earlier, we got the will. We had the will to change that decision. It was like, go back on Adam and Eve. They had the choice to eat that thing.
Right.
Did you like? They ate it because they felt like it.
Yeah.
Nobody told them to. It was them. The lyrics may say some things, and they may like go with it, but that's their choice.
Yeah, I think something you said earlier, right, ties into this, right? You said people are like a product of their environment, right? You use something to that effect, like how they're raised, the stuff that's around them, right? I think the lyrics are part of it, right? I think that if you, and it's not to like, downplay anybody or whatever, but I think if you're a strong mental person, right, whatever that means, you're able to take those lyrics, analyze them as entertainment, whatever. If you're somebody, like you said, who doesn't have a father figure, right, and so there's some chemical imbalance, some stuff that's not right in your head that you're working through, that you're figuring out, right? You got whatever your issue is, your dad's not there, you're a teenager, so you're figuring out life, you're seeing a lot of stuff, and then you add that stuff in, then it can definitely play a part. I think there's definitely part of that. So I think the lyrics can affect it, but I think there's a lot more involved when the lyrics influence your actions than just the lyrics of the music.
So do you think an artist should be a little bit more conscious when it comes to, like, say, especially if you're from this community?
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying, they don't have to be.
Yeah.
But do you? I'm just asking your opinion. Do you expect them to be more conscious? Like, wow, I know my people are struggling. I know our kids are looking up to the wrong things. We have the highest in arrest rates. We have the highest in homicide rates. We're going through right now, and all we're doing is glamorizing it, right?
Yeah.
Because you can turn on a song right now, and 12 people just got shot on a song. You're like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you got young people out there don't know that those are studio gangsters. They're getting paid to talk about slaying somebody on the lyrics. But then you got a young person that puts a gun in their hand and does that for real.
Right.
And there goes their life and someone else's.
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like, artists should be a little bit more, because I'm starting to see old school gangster rappers starting to say, you know what, I need to step back up.
They figuring it out.
And redeem and say, hold on.
Yeah.
And step up and start saying, you know what, these were just lyrics.
Yeah.
We were rapping about this at this time, or this is getting out of hand. You guys are fighting. You see rappers trying to come in and be mediators in certain places.
There's a difference between certain rappers that I want to clarify. A lot of people may think that all rappers, when they talk about drugs, guns, money, all that, there's different types of rappers that talk on certain ways on this. There's rappers that may just be like flexing it, like, yeah, I killed somebody, or yeah, I sell drugs and I grew up this way, blah, 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 blah. Definitely, I see what's going on.
It's about styles of storytelling.
Yes, and then there's also those rappers that we gotta really recognize that there's also rappers that now that may be talking about it, but they're also talking about the way that they grew up and how they had to do this and how they changed their life around right now. There's a lot of rappers who talk that way, and people gotta really realize that.
Yeah. I think the part you mentioned earlier about redemption too, I think it's happening at younger ages even, right? Like you're seeing guys like Meek Mill or whatever go through it earlier, right? So you talk about some of the older guys that are in their 40s and 50s, guys that were doing it in the 80s, but you're also starting to see it a lot younger too. I think there's an awareness.
Being more conscious.
Right? You're still making the music, but you're addressing it too, whether it's on social media, whether it's...
I think there's mentors in their life.
Sure.
Saying, you
I
know
would
what,
imagine
you're,
so.
you're holding a lot of power right now because
Yeah.
some other guys didn't have that.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. We're going to go to a commercial break. This is getting good. This is a good topic. I hope you guys are really enjoying this. Stay tuned.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother ya?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Wall, where we witness achievements through life lessons. Thank you for hanging out with us. We're going to finish up this conversation a little bit more. According to the Billboard Top 100 list, the #1 song right now is WAP by Cardi B. Opening lyrics of WAP are, "There's some whores in this house." The #2, they giggling over here.
No, because
The young people giggling over here, right? You said #2 song right now on the Billboard is "Laugh Now, Cry Later" by Drake, that includes multiple references of sexual content, right? #3 in the Billboard charts, "Rockstar" by Day Baby. The Baby?
The Baby.
The Baby.
The Baby.
I don't know. I'm old. The Baby. You know, I'm from a world where they say "the baby," right? The Baby, that includes the references to weapons, selling drugs, and violence. The top 3 songs on the Billboard charts all contain questionable content. Do you think it's okay to play so much explicit music? Why or why not? Geneset, you're smirking there, so I'm gonna pick on you.
I think it's fine. Like, I think they shouldn't worry about how children react to their music. Like, it's their choice if they're gonna react the way that they react whenever they hear it.
Okay, you talking about from the artist's point of view?
Yeah.
Right? So,
I think they should be able to say whatever they want whenever they want to sing.
okay. Now, do you? All right, I got a separate question for Sean. But go ahead, Elijah. You wanna have your take on this?
I think it's totally fine. Honestly, people came into the music business to do what they love. This is what they love, and let them do it. We all got our choices in lives and our own dreams to do what we have to do. These guys are making money from it.
Well, matter of fact, keyword. That's what I was gonna get into with Sean. Do you think these artists are losing themselves because they're doing what causes controversy and what sells, instead of really doing what they want?
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. I think you like, I mean, so I grew up listening to hip hop music, right? And like you can tell, I think when like nowadays the word classic is thrown around a lot, right? Like everything's a classic. All the kids say everybody the GOAT, whatever. But you know, when I'm growing up, like you had to make something that was special, right, to be considered a classic, right? And you can tell some of the stuff was just they're trying to capture a moment, they're trying to capture a vibe, they're trying to capture a sound, and so you chase that, and it doesn't make authentic music, which is kind of a different topic than this. I mean, it's whether you should make authentic music or whether you should pursue the money, like you said, the fame, whatever. But I absolutely think that happens a lot more than people realize, right? Is you're trying to capture a certain sound, a certain vibe, and you're not even making music that's true to you. You're just trying to capture a moment, and they absolutely get caught up in that.
Yeah, because you ever see a music group?
I gotta
where
wrap
the
up
one-
perfect for the subject. Wait, my bad if I cut you off, but have y'all ever heard of TK?
No.
TK, free TK?
Mm-hmm.
TK he's a young rapper. He's currently in jail because a lot of people talk about free TK. He confessed to his crimes on rap.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He talked about how he murdered people.
And then they used that same song to convict them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
And then everybody goes on saying free TK, free TK. I'm not hating on it, but like
you're a murderer.
He's a murderer.
And then, confess.
They want to bring him out because his music's good, because of his music and his fame. They're not realizing what he did. He murdered people.
But that's what we were talking about. That certain culture that can't think for themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know,
groupthink, man. We it's a lot of that now, man.
Yeah, people will follow. People follow anything.
Yeah.
People will follow as long as you feed their desires or what they want.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna follow whether
Absolutely.
you're right or wrong.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty deep. The question, the other question I wanted to ask is that you seen that group, like say it's an R&B group or a rock group, and that one person goes solo. Their music is totally different.
Right. Yeah,
right? Because they express on how they've been wanting to do what the music what was theirs.
To do. Yeah.
So I always wonder how much the industry really has a hold on these artists.
Right.
Because there's a lot of what I noticed too is that I'm really a fan of underground artists. A lot of times when I'm traveling and if I meet new people, then I hear about, you gotta check out this artist. They always go to these underground clubs. These artists don't rap like these. And these are hip hop artists,
sure.
But so creative with their lyrics, so conscious about life, but so lyrically talented. But today sometimes it's not even lyrics. I sound like an old person judging, but it's not. Before when I grew up, rappers could talk about the headphones on you and then match it with your shirt and your shoes. But now everything is either trapping.
Yeah.
How much money and how much ice, whatever it is.
Sure.
But it feels like, okay, you're just doing what you're told or what people want to be heard.
So one of my favorite rappers is J. Cole. I don't know if you listen to J. Cole.
Yeah.
I love J. Cole, right?
Yeah.
So second album, I think he had a song called Let Nas Down, right? And the premise of the song was when his first album came out, they forced him to make a song that was commercial, right? That was radio play, right? And so he talks about how Nas was his idol, right? Like the rapper that he looked up to, and how trying to make this song because the label told him, hey, you have to have a single that we can play on radio before we'll put your album out. Like we're not putting out the album until we have a viable commercial radio hit, right? And then he talks about how I think it was one of his friends or whatever was talking backstage with Nas or whatever at a concert that they were doing together. And he was like, man, I didn't think J. Cole would be the one to do that, like to chase the hit. Like, we know he can rap, like, do what you do. And he talks about, and so the premise of the song is I let Nas down, I let my idol down because I went in and I started chasing that hit record. So just to get back to what you're saying, where, I think, that's proof right there of somebody who can really rap, who can really do some stuff and got caught up in the whole system of I have to have this commercial radio hit or my first album will never come out, So I'm sure that happens, I'm assuming if you're not not the bigger, like those mid-tier artists probably have to do that their whole career, right? Like they never get the opportunity to say, this is what I'm doing. I no longer need the label. I no longer care. I'm going to just do my music. Some of those guys that are kind of in that mid-level probably have to do that over and over again, right? Go find that one song so that they can then release the rest of the music that they want to release too.
Wow. I think who's paving the way, even though he's not a hip-hop artist or a singer, was Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle was creating his own comedy. But then when folks offered him all this money to do something that wasn't him, he walked away from, what, 30 million?
50 million.
$50 million. Like, how many people will walk away from $50 million?
And then came back and is
strong.
doing it all independent. I mean, he's doing it through, licensing.
The way he wants to.
But the way he wants to do it, right?
The way
this
he
is my
wants to do
content.
it.
This is how I want to release.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's huge.
And there's like so many artists that are doing that same thing. You got Common,
Yeah.
You got a couple folks that really like, I love the roots,
Yep.
but I'm an old school guy. I listen to old school hip hop. I'm a fan of KRS-One, Eric B. and Rakim, Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Also like rock. And I just put up on my storyline the other day a song by Nickelback, right? If you listen to the lyrics, it's called I Want to Be a Rock Star.
Yeah.
Just because I love that song doesn't mean I'm going by the lyrics. I want to be a rock star. He goes in on like everything, But the song is cool. I like the song is catchy,
Yeah.
So it's just about. But do you believe that some artists start feeling themselves, start believing their own lyrics?
I think a lot of artists fake a different person for the fame and for the money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of artists who talk
Well,
about...
we got some that fake, but do you think there's some that actually start believing their own legend they rapped about?
Yeah.
Like I said, these people, there's a lot of rappers, they say dumb stuff on the mic, and then they go through with it because that's how they represent themselves now. They can't back out. You too far in.
Yeah.
And
But that's where you lose being an artist. That's where you lose being an artist. I mean, there's so many good artists out there. Would they be able to get any wiggle room to get on the air? Because the industry wants to put certain music out there.
Yeah.
Like, who's really controlling the music? The industry?
Right.
And you see a lot of folks go up against the industry. Like Prince. There's folks in the past who said, hey, man...
Believe it or not, Drake is going against the industry right now, right? Like, he doesn't have a major deal with anybody. It's all independent. It's released through Apple, but he owns everything. Like, he's not using a machine behind him. He's no deal with Atlantic, no deal
What's
with...
the name of that group? One of them died not so long ago. I'm going to pop some tags. You know what I'm talking about, right? At the thrift store song type of thing?
Yeah, Macklemore.
Macklemore, right?
Yeah.
Them guys did it on their own. If anybody knows that, like, all that money was theirs.
Yeah.
They didn't go. They didn't sign under a major record.
Macklemore was multiple dudes.
Yeah.
No, it's
like,
a rapper.
It was one dude.
It's one dude, but he's part of like a dual collective.
Like a dual collective, right?
Yeah.
But they managed their own thing, did their own videos. They what I'm saying is they did the homework, and they refused to be under anybody.
Yeah.
They put the work in.
Yep.
Are you willing to sell your soul for the big break, or are you willing to be the artist you truly are?
All right.
And are you willing to give into certain lyrics, or are you able to listen to something and say it's just lyrics? It's pretty deep.
Yeah, man.
All right. Quote of the day. This week we will share 3 quotes from famous musicians in different time periods. Beethoven from the 1800s. Music can change the world. I think that's powerful. And I think it's true. Van Morrison from the 60s. Music is spiritual. The music business is not. This goes to what we were talking about today. Number 3 is Rockstar by The Baby. That includes a reference of I'm messed up. Bruce Springsteen. I'm sorry. Bruce Springsteen. The 3rd quote from the 70s. The best music is essentially there to provide you something to face the world with. You gotta put that hype song on. That hype music.
Yeah, to get you right.
To get you right. You're going to work. When you're coming back from work, that downtime. As far as apart as these men were in their time, their message is the same. Music has a great power. Together we have to determine if the power is for good or for the power of negativity. That's how we're going to end that show with this statement, because it is powerful. Music is something that we just can't ignore and say it is not powerful, but we need to recognize the beauty of it, though. The artistry of the music. I grew up with the I don't even know if I want to tell my kids about them, but I grew up with 2 Live Crew. And 2 Live Crew, I used to love listening to their music, and their music was crazy. But
it's even crazy by today's standards.
Yeah, even today's standards. They had to go to court.
Yeah.
They had to go to court to fight. Freedom of speech type of thing, because even the government tried to shut them down because their music started getting so popular and hitting everybody's home. So it was pretty deep, but my folks didn't ever talk to me about it.
Right.
But I love the music, but doesn't mean I wasn't acting like that.
Right.
You know, but it's very powerful. I hope you guys listened in and really listen to our lyrics. Go ahead, Elijah. What you got to say?
I was gonna go on something earlier. Like, a lot of the rappers think they gotta be in a lot of I'm not gonna say a lot of rappers, but artists are in gangs. They're involved in a lot of gang activity and stuff, and that's why I think that's what really messes them up. 6ix9ine got involved with some stuff, and then he blew up on that thing, went to jail. Then he said the truth, and then look at him now. He's out, and then he's getting threats and a bunch of stuff. That's where it becomes really dumb. You could have had a awesome music career because his music blew up. He has people listen to his music. He makes a bunch of money.
Yeah, people trying to talk to him. Fat Joe, a couple people who've been there saying, "Hey, you need to."
You got an
If you
opportunity
Let
really
your
think
crew
about
go.
it, if he didn't get involved with this gang activity, he could have been just fine. I think a lot of artists just gotta really focus on themselves.
Yeah.
That's what people
True.
have to remember.
No. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you shared that. You agree with that, Sean?
Yeah, I think so, man. Like I said earlier, man, the best way to make music is. Well, it depends on what you're looking for, man. If you want to make music, then just make music that's true to you, right? If you're looking for fame, then you're probably going to get tied up in all that other stuff, right? If you're looking to get rich out of it, then you're probably going to get involved with some gang stuff. You're going to make some music that's not who you are. You're going to be chasing stuff. If you're just an artist and you're looking to make music, the best thing to do is just make music that's authentic for you, and it'll find the right people, man.
Yeah, I think I'm glad you said that because a lot of young people don't realize the hard work artists put in. No, legends put in. Just didn't happen overnight.
It never does.
And they put the work in to get there. Do you have it, before we go, we got 3 minutes. Do you have anything going on that you would like folks to know about? Any projects, anything you're involved with?
Nah, man. Right now, I'm just, like I told you at the beginning, man, I turned over this new leaf. I'm getting started with the teaching thing, man. So just keep me in your thoughts as I.
Okay. Were you still doing the Team Mateo?
Oh yeah, we got Team Mateo Sports. So that's a youth advocacy mentorship program. We do football. We were obviously with COVID not able to do anything this year, but we mentor youth 13 to 18. So you can always check us out on Instagram, Team Mateo Sports. TeamMateoSports.org is the website.
Well, thank you for that. Now, before we go, do your since you're a coach, do your kids listen to certain music? Do you see them walking around with their headphones before the game?
All the time, man. All the time. And like you said, man, music evokes emotion, right? So sometimes you need that to get in. Like you said, when you're in the gym, same thing before a game, man. Sometimes you just the music, but I also know that some of the music they listen to, they're not really listening to. I can tell when I'm with them, man. Like it's just stuff that's on, like it's ambient. It's so that study from earlier where it said some people aren't listening to the lyrics. That's a fact, man.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you very much and I hope you could join us again in the future, man. We'd love to learn about your teaching journey.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
All right,
for sure.
so say bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. You just listen to The Wall, where we witness achievements to life lessons. Only on Woosla Radio. We out.